Hey everybody. Hey there. Give y'all a second to jump on today. Hope y'all doing well. Finally made it back to the States. Back at home in Chicago. Hope you all are having a good day today so far. Holla at me, tell me where you're from, where you're at. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're at. Hey, South Florida. Okay, what's up? What's up, South Florida? Big Spring, Texas. I am having a great day so far. Thank you. Phoenix. Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Blessings to you too. All right, encouraging word. I got you. St. Louis. I got you. Arlington, Virginia. I got you too. Encouraging word. We're going to talk about purpose today. Purpose. Purpose is important. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Good morning from Clarksville. All right. What's up, Clarksville? Let me try to adjust this real quick. See if we can fix that. All right. So, right on time. All right. I like to say it's right on time. Hey, what's up? Jacqueline Denise. So I want to talk about purpose today. Purpose is so important. Purpose is one of my favorite topics. Why? Because purpose is what will motivate you in life. Purpose is one of the biggest motivators in life. Rick Warren, he says that the greatest tragedy is not death, but life without purpose. I know the late Dr. Miles Monroe used to say that the most wealthiest place in the earth is not diamond mines or gold mines. It's actually the gravesite, because a lot of purposes and a lot of dreams died right there with people, never being fulfilled, never being lived out. And that is very valuable. That's valuable to us in society. That's valuable to God. That's valuable to this earth. We need you. We need your purpose. And the most important thing we can focus on in this life, one of the most important things, is focusing on purpose. Living without purpose will always bring focus, living with a purpose will always bring focus. And focus with a purpose will yield great results. Purpose makes you better. Now, purpose is one of my favorite topics. And purpose deals with the definition of why, or the reason why something exists or is made. We all know that we didn't make ourselves. First of all, we needed some man and some woman to assist us in physically getting here. But let me tell you, God made you. He made you. He's the creator, and he ordained you to be here on this earth. He purposed for you to be here. Now, because he purposed for you to be here, he didn't put you on this earth and forget, I forgot to give David a purpose. He didn't forget to give you a purpose. No one on this earth is born without a purpose. In fact, every creation from God is born with a purpose. You know what's interesting is that if you have a cat or dog, we have a cat, and we didn't have to teach our cat Frankie to meow. Frankie just knew how to meow. If you have a dog, you don't have to teach your dog how to bark. Your dog just knows how to be a dog. You know, plants, you don't have to teach a plant or convince a plant to be a plant. They just do what they're supposed to do. But man is the only creation created by God that has to be convinced to live out his or her purpose. Isn't that interesting? That we have to be convinced that life is more than just 9 to 5. How do you find your purpose? That's a great question, and I'll get to it in just a little bit. I know a lot of us are like, okay, we know purpose is important, but how do we find it? But I want to talk a little bit more about purpose for just a moment. Now, purpose is like the path of authenticity. That's what I believe. It's the path of authenticity. It's kind of like wearing a suit tailor-made for you. Now, I can know somebody who, I know somebody who is 6'8", and he's 6'8", probably 250, and I am not. I'm 5'10", like 185, and if I tried to put on his suit, it would look silly on me. Even though it's clothing, it would clothe my body, but it's not made for me. It does not fit me. And I want to tell you that when you are living out someone else's purpose because of the success that you've seen them get, it looks silly for you too because it's not authentic for you. I'm not saying you can't take things and success tips from others and take some different things that they're doing. But what I'm saying is make sure that you are focused on the path of authenticity for you. Focus on your purpose. What does God put into you? What is on your heart? What is the thing that you are on this earth to do? Because nobody else can do what you can do. And you can do what nobody else can do, the way you can do it. Why? Because we're all uniquely designed and made. So what's the path of authenticity? I believe that, and I say this, every direction looks like purpose until you have a destination. I can get in the car and drive 8 hours, whichever way. And I can feel like I'm doing something. Like, yeah, I got in the car, drove 8 hours. I know I'm supposed to be going somewhere. So yeah, I did it. But check this out. If I'm supposed to be driving to Miami to go visit my father-in-law, then if I went and drove 8 hours north, I just wasted some time. Come on, wasted some gas and some gas money. Come on, y'all. Y'all know how gas money ain't cheap and gas ain't cheap. And so any direction without a specific destination is me just kind of wasting my time. I need to have some direction here. I need to have a destination. So once I have a destination, I can focus my efforts, I can focus my energy, I can put all that into making sure that I'm doing exactly what I'm on this earth to do. And that is one of the greatest, most fulfilling things that you can do. Let me tell you, I have done other things, but once I found my purpose in inspiring young people, teaching a young generation, man, that is the most fulfilling thing that I could ever do. And God put that in my heart. I didn't put that in my own heart. God put that in my heart. And so I believe that purpose is so important. You know, one man said this, until the original purpose of your life is discovered, you will continue to live life as an experiment. Isn't that good? Until the original purpose of your life is discovered, you will continue to live life as an experiment. Now, purpose is the original intent or cause for the creation of a thing. And so until you find out that purpose, you'll continue to experiment. Trial and error. I'll try this. I'll try that. Try this. And I'm not saying, you know, branching out and doing different things is bad. But I'm just saying be careful. Because you don't want to waste all your time, money, and energy on things that you weren't born to do as your ultimate life goal and purpose. I believe that you have to be destiny-minded and live with a purpose. I mean, just because you're busy doesn't mean we're being effective. I don't want to leave this earth and say, well, I was busy always doing something. And then God asked me, but were you busy doing the thing that I told you to do and purposed in your heart? And so just because it's activity doesn't mean it's yielding great results. So I want to do the thing that I was put on this earth to do, because the thing I was put on this earth to do was the thing that I will ultimately be able to do best. I believe that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Now, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. This is important because, like, what if I took a steak knife, right, and I went outside and tried to cut some wood? It's getting cold here in Chicago. You know, you get the fireplace burning. So I'm trying to go outside, cut some logs, and I take my steak knife to go outside and do it. Well, I'm going to be pretty frustrated, right, because the steak knife wasn't designed or it wasn't purposed to be able to cut wood and logs. That's why you have an axe. That's why you have chainsaw. Those are the things that were designed to cut logs. And so when I try to take my steak knife and use it for something that it wasn't purposed to do, then it becomes very frustrating for me. And I start to feel the weight of that frustration. And let me tell you, if you're in a place of frustration right now, I encourage you, find your purpose. Seek your purpose. Ask God about your purpose. He knows why, because He's the creator. He created you. And so I'm a big believer in the fact that we can't fully understand our purpose unless we are asking the person who produced and created us. You know, if you want to know the purpose of a thing, you go to the creator of the thing. If you want to know the purpose of an app, you go to the creator of the app. And so I believe if you want to know the purpose of really why you're here on this earth, I don't think you can escape asking God, what's my purpose? Because you were the creator of me. Ultimately, you put me on this earth. And so that's what I believe. I believe that that you can't fully know yourself or have confidence in being who you are until you know the purpose that you are designed for. And I believe that as you know the purpose you were designed for, confidence, it comes from that. It says in Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21, many plans are in a man's mind, but it is the Lord's purpose that will stand. It says in Proverbs 28, verse 19, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Now, what does that mean, where there's no vision, where there's no purpose? It means that when there's not people pursuing the vision and the purpose that God has placed inside of them, other people suffer. And we see there's some suffering going on in our world, that people are hurting, people are broken, people need help. We need the right people in government offices. We need the right people starting the right organizations, doing the right things, touching and reaching out to the right people. And it all starts with purpose. Somebody has to say yes to purpose. And I see this question. Give me just a moment. I'll come back to that question. And I want to mention one more thing. That there are things that God has designed and put specifically in your heart that will help you achieve your purpose and your destiny. And because you have those qualities, it makes it impossible to fulfill someone else's destiny. And it makes it impossible for somebody else to fulfill your destiny. And so I'll get to that question in just a second. I actually have a very quick answer. But I want to get to the first question. They said, how do you find your destiny and your purpose? Oh, and I want to point one thing out also. See this? This is a camera. A lot of you all DSLR point and shoot cameras. And so it's a simple camera. This is actually my son Jacob's camera. And it's interesting, if you know anything about cameras, is that when you adjust focus on them, they can only focus on one thing at once. You can take wide shots, but when you have a long zoom lens and you're really coming in close to something, it's either you're focusing on what's close right in front of you, or you adjust the focus to focus on the thing that is behind. And I think we're made the same way. Like, it's hard for me to put my finger up in front of my face and then read something that's 20 feet away from me. I can only focus on one thing, and you're designed the same way, that when you are focused on your purpose, you'll find that you will get great results, but you'll also find that when you're not focused on your purpose, it seems like you're not getting results in your purpose. And it's made that way because we're made to produce what we focus on. And so I want to get to the question we had a little bit earlier. We had a question, how do you find your purpose? And I actually have a couple teachings on this on our Go Hard for Christ podcast, talking about purpose. I actually did a series maybe 3 years ago. It's called Depth of Field. Thank you. And a series maybe 3 years ago called Pursuing Destiny. How do you find your purpose? And this is a longer answer that I can't go into, but I'll give you some main tips, okay? First, consult the Creator. You weren't put here on this earth by yourself. That means somebody else, the Creator God, He put you here. Now, if He put you here, He's the one and the only one that can dictate to the full extent what you are here purposed to do. That is number one baseline. I also believe that when you have a purpose and a calling, you want to make sure that you get direction in that purpose and in that calling. Know that He built it into you. God built into you whatever you're called to do. There's a passion that you have for something. There's something that you feel compelled to do. You feel drawn to do. There's something that you would do even if nobody paid you anything. I know, we got life, we got bills, we got kids. But let's put all that aside for a second. What would you do even if you weren't paid to do it? What would you just do because you just love doing it? That passion right there, that is built into you. That wasn't there on accident, and that's not contrived. That passion that you have that is truly burning, and I'm not just talking about just doing something as a hobby, killing time. I'm talking about something that you decide to willingly talk to people about often. Yeah, that thing right there. And sometimes, people might get tired of hearing about it, or you decide to read about it, or you watch about it, or you look at people who do it. You have that passion that burns inside about it. And I believe that part of that has to do a lot of times with your purpose. I really have a passion to see people do better. That's one of the reasons why I do this scope right here, is I have a passion to see people live the best life according to what God has called them to do. I believe in purpose. I believe that God has given each one of us a purpose. And so I believe that also, as we ask God, I believe that God isn't necessarily obligated to answer questions that we don't ask. If we don't ask God, what is my purpose? If we're not asking Him, then He doesn't even have an opportunity to make known to us. Sometimes I think that people expect God to just throw it out there. But He's a gentleman. you have to invite him in. You have to get into his presence. You have to ask and inquire of him. And I have some teachings on that about how to hear from God. I can't go into all of that. But also, what are your gifts? What are your talents? What are those things that you're really naturally good at? I am a communicator of different things. I like to motivate. Let me tell you, I'm built in to motivate. I love to motivate people. Even before I was in full-time ministry, I was a personal trainer. And that's another expression of that motivation, encouragement thing that was built into me coming out. And so I'm passionate about exercise and healthy bodies. And that was just one expression. But, God shifted me into a different expression of being able to encourage people in the right things. And so I encourage you, those are just some tips, but I encourage you with that. And then I had another question, if you're still on, about, I think it was a question about hearing God or hearing God's voice. If you're still on, throw me that question one more time. I don't want to overlook it, and so I appreciate your patience. And so, hearing God is an important part of it. And God doesn't want you to be frustrated. This isn't necessarily a guessing game. He's not a God who mocks us. He wants us to know his purpose. But he also wants us, in the pursuit of purpose, to pursue him as we find our purpose. And as we pursue him, he will reveal his purpose to us. Because he doesn't want us to try to pursue purpose or fulfill our purpose aside from him. Whatever God has placed in your heart to do, he wants you to dream big. And you know what? He doesn't want you to exclude him from the equation. As you dream big, he wants you to include him in the equation, because those big dreams, sometimes they're too big for us and we can't do it in our own power, but we weren't meant to do it in our own power. We were meant to link up with God and have faith and trust in God that he will assist us and that things will move on our behalf and things will come together, people will come together, resources will come together, and we'll be able to do everything that God has placed us on this earth to do. So purpose is important. What do you do if you have been asking God and still haven't received an answer? That's a great question. I actually have a YouTube video on this, how to hear the voice of God, basically. And let me see if I could pull it up, and that way I can give you the direct link to it. Or actually, I can give you at least the direct title to it. So let me check this out, and then I got to jump off. So let me see where it's at. Here we go. All right. So I don't have time to go all the way through it, but I definitely can give you some tips. And I have a video that is called I Need Direction, What to Do. I Need Direction, What to Do. It's a video on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/GoHardForChrist, and it's a video called I Need Direction. I also have a teaching on our Go Hard for Christ podcast called Hearing the Voice of God. Please log on to it. It's a great teaching, and it's one of our most popular teachings, but people want to know, how do I hear the voice of God? And so I believe that God, He gives us the answers in different ways. I believe sometimes God will speak straight to us. And I've had a couple times where I feel like I've audibly heard God's voice. A lot of times God will kind of speak to my heart very subtly. Sometimes I'll get impressions in my heart. Sometimes God will give me dreams. Sometimes God will have people come across my path to be able to speak an answer to something that I had just been praying about a couple days before. And they didn't even know. They kind of unknowingly spoke an answer. Sometimes going to church and listening to the pastor or whoever that might be, they might say something in their sermon that's an answer. A lot of times God will all right, I understand. God will reveal answers in His Word. And so as we read the Bible, it is Him speaking to us also. And so there's many different ways, but if you check out those resources, I believe that you'll be blessed and you'll get some answers. Remember, purpose is important, guys. You got to seek purpose, and make sure to share this with somebody else, because everybody, they need to hear that their purpose is important. You are not insignificant, but your purpose is largely significant, and it is a part of how we are going to help grow the society and as we thrive. The I Need Direction, What to Do video. Yes. And so living with a purpose will always bring focus, and focus with a purpose will yield great results. Purpose makes you better. Seek purpose. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure to share this with somebody else. Give me a follow if you want to know next time that I'm periscoping. I love you guys. I appreciate the support, and keep getting better.